And the other question was, if I understood you correctly, you did have a conversation with Judge Wallace, and she did verify, if I understood you correctly, that she's saying it is 24 feet in width?
It was an informal visit that I had with her, and I just tried to clear it up. Of course, I think technically she's got to go in the courtroom to make it official. Is that right, Matt? Or not? Can she tell you what she meant in an order without, and just in an informal conversation?
That has no legal significance whatsoever.
Oh, well, she told me that she felt like that everybody understood that meant 24 feet.
Okay. This was an exhibit in court, so Judge Wallace is quite familiar with it. Mr. Long keeps referring to this survey rather than any others. I don't understand why Mr. Kirkus would have an objection to the survey, as he is the one that paid to have it done. We can all agree with that. We seem to agree that the judge seems to be alluding to the fact that she meant to say 24 feet. If this is true, through Mr. Kirkus's own survey, you can see here, if you go to the clerk's office and get the full-size one, I believe this says 18. Doesn't matter if you want to do the math in your head, it could be 16, but I think it's 18 something. Per that survey, if you look at detail 1, it will show 16 feet if you pull a engineer scale across this. Basically, at the end, if you remember from being out there, of the steel structure just to the west of the gate, that measures 16 feet, but you can measure it for yourself. You'll see detail 1 shows 1.4 feet from the edge of the road. If the road is not the distance as shown in the survey, but is in point of fact 24, you can easily see I overlap there. Why can't I have legal access to my land? Per the judge's ruling, in Mr. Kirkus's own survey, it shows I'm legally overlapping there. Detail 1, if you turn it upside down, you'll say detail 1 will be 1.4 feet. That's got a B2 scale to be legal. I don't know if they filed this or not. They should have.
1.4 feet from statutory right-of-way. And how wide does they say the road was here?
Okay.
Here it is. I can't see it.
Right. Right here, if you look at a blown-up one, I want to say it says 18.3. I'm pretty sure
it looks
it
like it says 18.2 or something.
Okay. Again, for argument's sake, let's say it says 6 feet.
But if it's 24 feet, then they overlap.
Correct. They will overlap per his own survey admitted into evidence at point 1.
Right.
Now, what you can tell is take this dimension. I can tell you for a fact that gate measures 16 feet, so if you extend that down, that puts it right where I said pretty much, right at the end of that steel structure. I am in right there where it says metal gate.
Yeah.
That is the metal gate, which measures 16 feet.
See, that's the end of the steel structure right there.
Correct, but the steel structure goes an additional 16 feet. The metal gate is physically the gate which has hinges that you can open. If you recall, and I could show you pictures, there's a steel structure going to the east and to the west to support the post to hold up the gate, so when you swing it open, it doesn't fall over. That measures an additional 16 feet.
Right there is the point that I think that where the 1.4, where they say that there's 1.4 feet, is where I think that we could
according to his survey, it's right there at point number 1. See the detail? Detail 1. South edge of road is 1.4 north of statutory right-of-way.
Yeah, and that's down there about 50 feet from where I see it, right where I see it.
Well, I won't barter that with you now, but I think if you have an engineer send me look at it, you'll find it's close to 16 feet from the corner of the gate.
That gate's 16 feet.
Correct.
And see, it's a lot longer from there to here as it is from here to here.
That is true, but what you're not bearing in mind is the gate itself, which obviously has to swing or it's not a gate, has a steel structure 16 feet on each side of it supporting the gate.
Well, I think
and then there's a culvert 3 feet to the other side.
First thing we got to do, we got to make sure that we have the 33 feet open. We don't even have that right now.
Right, but the 24 feet that everybody's saying, and the judge said it shows I'm in already. And does anybody disagree with that, based on his survey?
And then who is going to cut?
In fact, if the Court of Civil Appeals agrees with that, then they can reverse the ruling.
Jim, who would cut the fence? Who would cut Kirkus's fence?
What?
Who would cut Kirkus's fence? That's been my question all along. I mean, do we cut that fence to get him into that property, or do they cut it? Or I mean,
it's my understanding is in violation of law because he's blocking my access to the statutory easement, which I have access to.
The fence,
right? The existing barbed wire fence.
The existing barbed wire fence is there.
Right.
There is no easement over here, statutory easement yet, until we vote it in. All right. Once we vote the statutory easement in, and you get access to that, then who is responsible for cutting that fence?
I think at that time you'll probably get a judge's order to give you a decision. Do you think? And like I said, my issue right now is the road.
Yeah.
Because we got to get our 33 feet or our right-of-way back.
Yeah.
But let me inject one more thing, because I don't think I'm understanding. I don't think we agree on something. Perhaps I'm wrong. Okay, we're agreeing that she said the 24. I don't think anybody's disputing. I don't think Mr. Kirksville's dispute his own survey. Okay. It is my understanding, irrelevant of you opening the section line, I have legal access to the 16.6 statutory easement off the section line. The act of opening it will only open it to the public. That is my understanding. Has gone through many attorneys.
What you just asked.
Okay, well, we're in agreement that this is section 26, correct? It's a section line.
And he said
Over here.
He said there's a north and a east. What was that? There's two different section lines.
What question are you asking, Kerry?
What I am saying is, well, I'm trying to be very specific. This road sits next, for argument's sake, let's say it sits next to the section line. This is section 26, correct?
Yeah, I don't know.
It is. If you look at one of your maps, it'll show it's section 26. It's a section line. Okay. You have not, you're saying you haven't opened it. I ain't going to argue whether you did or you didn't. Well, my point is, every attorney I have talked to, many people, irrelevant of the act of the Board of County Commissioners opening the section line easement, I, as a landowner of the property on the section line easement, have legal access, and the judge did not deny this, 16.6 off of the section line.
Oh, I don't know that.
That's too.
The judge didn't rule against it. She says I lost because it was 1.4 feet away.
The 1.4 feet ain't going to do you no good with your existing driveway. Either way, you're going to have to move your driveway down this way.
Right, I'd have to move about 16 feet over, which wouldn't be a big deal because if you recall being out there, that culvert's over here. It wouldn't even require a culvert in the road.